question number 2, which is showing that angle 3 and angle 6 are congruent to each other. And it says to make a conjecture to explain why each statement is true. Now the reason that angle 3 is congruent to angle 6 is because angle 3 and 6 are alternate interior angles. Now, the reason why these are congruent to each other is because line F is parallel to line G. In order for angle 3 and angle 6 to be congruent, and therefore alternate interior angles, we would need to know that indeed these two lines, line F and G, are parallel to one another. In number 4, since line P is parallel to line Q, then angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. Angle 1 and angle 5 are alternate exterior angles. Since line X is parallel to line Y, the measure of angle 4 plus the measure of 5 is equal to 180 degrees, and we refer to those as same side interior angles. Because line P is parallel to line Q, if the measure of angle 1 is 54 degrees, then the measure of angle 4 is also 54 degrees. The measure of angle 5 is 54 degrees. The measure of angle 8 is 54 degrees. Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. Angle 4 and angle 8 are also corresponding angles, and corresponding angles are congruent when lines are parallel. Angle 1 and 4 are congruent because they are vertical angles. Angle 5 and 8 are also vertical angles. Angle 2 is supplementary to angle 1. Supplementary angles equal 180 degrees. So 54 degrees, the measure of angle 1, plus the measure of angle 2 has to add up to 180. So the measure of angle 2 is 126 degrees. Angle 3 is 126. Angle 6 is 126. And angle 7 is also 126. Because we have parallel lines, line C is parallel to B. This angle, 5x plus 18, is equal to 7x minus 14. These two angles are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are congruent when lines are parallel. Therefore, 5x plus 18 must be equal to 7x minus 14. between these two angles is that they are supplementary. Those two angles are same side exterior angles, and same side exterior angles always add up to 180 degrees. So, therefore, FAR x plus 5 together with 3x equal 180 degrees. Question number 12 is about taking each of these boxes and placing them in a logical order to make a flowchart proof. So we've seen two column proofs so far. We've seen a paragraph proof. This is a third type of proof. It's called a flowchart proof. And there are a number of ways of writing a flowchart proof. So let's see if we can put all of these in a logical manner so that we can prove that same side interior angles are supplementary, equal 180 degrees. So what we know about same side interior angles with parallel lines is that together they add up to 180 degrees. So it looks like I am trying to prove this right here. This is what I'm trying to prove. Angles 4 and 5, right? Look in the drawing here, angle 4 and 5 are same side interior angles. And so that's what I'm trying to prove. I'm going to hold off, and this is going to be my very last step. It's going to be down here at the bottom somewhere. So let's just kind of put that to the side right now. That's what I'm trying to aim for. That's what I'm trying to get to. Now, because I have parallel lines, I notice that these two lines are parallel to each other. I'm going to begin with that given information. And this is the beginning of my proof. So let's put that right here to start things. I think I'll move this way over here for now. All right. So I have line R and line G are parallel to each other. Now, because I have parallel lines, then I can now say that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. So let's take a look at those two angles. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. Those are corresponding angles. So if I have parallel lines and I have a transversal that cuts through the parallel lines, I have 4 pair of corresponding angles, and 1 and 5 are one of those pairs. By definition of congruent angles, if angle 1 is congruent to angle 5 and the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 5. Now we need to be able to use these angles to substitute into an equation. So I need to be able to, so what I need to do is to write this statement right here in terms of equality. All right, so I have 3 other clues here. And the next clue that I'm going to use that's not related to this clue, so I'm going to set it over here to the right, is that angles 1 and 4 are a linear pair. So these two angles right here, supplementary angles, so they form a linear pair. And what I know about angles that are a linear pair is that they are two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. So angle 1 and 4 are a linear pair, and the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 4 is equal to 180. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to combine this clue, and I'm going to combine this clue together measure of angle 5, then I can take out the measure of angle 1, and I can replace it with the measure of angle 5 using the substitution property. So I'm combining this clue together with this clue to be able to say the measure of angle 5 plus the measure of angle 4 equals 180 degrees. And that was the reason why I had to go from congruency to equals. So therefore, if 5 and 4 are equal to 180 degrees, then 5 and 4 must be supplementary angles. So let's go back and draw in our arrows for the rest of the flow proof chart.